now that they've speeded up the game.
Oh,
That
isn't
makes
that a
a
lot
big
better?
difference.
Oh, yeah.
It makes it watchable now.
So, call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Rice Creek Watershed District Board of Managers, our regular meeting in Shoreview on Wednesday, April 12, 2023. It's 9 a.m. Mr. Administrator.
Yes.
First of all, roll call. So I'll acknowledge that all managers are present. So we'd set the agenda if we could.
Yes. Manager Bradley, staff would like to add a new action item number 4. I'll call it Office Cubicle Project.
All right. Any other deletions or changes by anyone?
I move approval of the agenda as noted.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
No opposed, passes 5-0. Mr. Administrator, what's next?
Minutes.
Minutes, yes.
Approval of minutes.
Mr. President, I move to approve the March 22, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, hearing none, passes 5-0. And then we have I guess that's the only minutes. We're at the consent agenda. Mr. Administrator, Patrick?
President Bradley, yes, we have 2 applications for your consideration today. No changes are requested.
Does anyone have any questions of Patrick? If not, could I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I would move approval of the consent agenda, which includes permit number 23012, City of New Brighton, and permit number 23013, State of Minnesota Department of Administration.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, passes 5-0. Which is open, takes us to open mic. Is there anyone in the audience or on the phone who would like to have an opportunity to speak to us on a subject that is not otherwise on our agenda? Since there's no one apparently here to do that, we will move on then to items requiring board action. Mr. Administrator, the Anoka County Ditch 102232 petition.
Yes. Manager Bradley, Board of Managers, Tom Schmidt, our District Public Drainage Inspector, is here to address the issue. You'll recall you received a petition previously and directed your engineer. Tom?
Yes, thank you, Nick. Mr. President and Board of Managers, as Nick noted, at the March 22nd meeting, you adopted Resolution 23-05, which accepted the petition to add drainage area to 102232 to accommodate development. And now you appointed the engineer to present a report. The report is completed, and now the engineer will present the report today, and you'll consider it. And then the procedure is to then schedule a public hearing, which we've suggested a date in the memo in conjunction with a regular board meeting. So after you've got a chance to consider the report, then we move on to that next step. So with that, I believe Adam from Houston is here to present the actual report.
This is Adam.
Welcome, Adam. Would you share your last name with us?
Yes. Yeah, thank you. I'm Adam Neese with Houston Engineering. Give me a second while I share my screen.
And Mr. Chair, for your information, Adam has been taking over the primary role on leading the drainage projects now with Rice Creek, so he's the one that's been integral and project manager for the JD3 repairs that will be coming up. That they're actually going to be going out for, or the bids will be opened up on Friday for that one. So Adam's leading that effort. He's leading the Ramsey County Ditch 4 repair report right now as well.
Well, great. Welcome on board.
Well, thank you. All right, well, thank you for the opportunity to present on the engineer's findings on the petition for the Anoka County Ditch 102232 Branch 3 petition for additional lands. Today, our petition purpose is to outlet 4.43 additional acres into the ACD 102232 Branch 3 system, and per Minnesota Statute 103E.401, for the use of the system as an outlet, the board must consider the capacity of the system, state the terms and condition for use by order, set an amount for an outlet fee, I'll discuss that at the very end of this presentation, and state the amount of benefits of the property to the outlet. Overall, I think we're generally familiar, but the orange box outlined in yellow there shows the site in question. It is a residential development site. I've highlighted in blue lines the ACD 102232 system, and you will note that branch 3 is immediately adjacent to the project site. Hopefully this color shows up on the screen, but it's in light green is the overall drainage area for ACD 102232. And again, that orange and yellow box shown at the top corner of the project site. Kind of just to put things in perspective, the proposed increase in drainage area is 4.43 acres. Branch 3 does currently drain almost 500 acres, and the system overall for ACD 102232 currently drains well over 4,000 acres. So that just helps put in perspective the change that we're talking about. If we zoom into the project site, we have a map here that has been provided by a professional engineer, AE2S, who worked on the project. So we're showing here a drainage area breakdown of the site. The light shaded purple lavender color is drainage area that currently drains into the branch 3 system today. And the peach orange color is drainage area that goes outside of Rice Creek into the Coon Creek watershed. So the change that the project proposes is shown in the purple dotted area, which is new lands that drain into the branch 3 watershed, and that is actually about 5.2 acres. And then you'll notice there is 2 smaller areas of red hatched area on the top and bottom, and those are lands that currently drain to branch 3, which will be redirected out into the Coon Creek watershed. So now this redirection is all based on storm sewer that will take place as part of the residential development. So in regards to the capacity of the system, we have recent analyses and repair reports that have shown that ACD 102232 has no additional capacity for the 10-year rainfall event. And because of this limited capacity, the petitioner is required to mitigate any excess runoff volumes from new lands. So again, professional engineer AE2S has performed these modeling calculations, and they have provided the model and the calculations to Houston for review. So in order to mitigate the additional runoff from these new lands, the petitioner has proposed 6 infiltration basins, which will take the additional volume and infiltrate it into the ground instead of letting it run off the surface into the ditch. With these basins, they have provided that drawdown is expected within a couple of days at a rate of 0.8 inches per hour for a total combined volume of 105,000 cubic feet. Through our review, the modeling shows that the peak discharges to ACD 102232 branch 3 have been reduced for the 2-year and the 10-year events. And that's primarily due to the infiltration basins where the water goes into the ground instead of into the ditch.
Excuse me, you mean the peak discharge currently will be reduced?
Yep, that's correct. The future conditions, once the project is complete.
Will reduce the discharge that's happening now?
That's correct. It's a slight reduction, but it is a reduction.
Mr. Chair, also note that besides the flow reduction, we're also, which would be required anyway under the district rule, they're providing a volume reduction as well due to those infiltration basins. So the volume and the flow are both reduced compared to the 2 and the 10-year event.
Thank you, Chris. The showing on the screen here, I've highlighted in yellow the 6 infiltration basins that are proposed with the project. You can see they are scattered around the site. And again, those will take the runoff from the site and infiltrate a portion of it prior to runoff entering the ditch. Now, as far as permitting, as Tom mentioned already, with permit number 22-015, they have received CAPROC approval in March of this year. That permit approval is contingent upon authorization for use of ACD 102232 as an outlet. The permit stipulates that they need to provide as-built survey of the stormwater BMPs for verification of compliance, and also as-built survey of the wetland boundaries to prove what was proposed and quantify those impacted areas. That CAPROC also, engineer's report also states that there's local, state, and federal approvals that may be required in addition. So today we are prepared to provide you our conclusions and recommendations for this petition. We believe the proposed outlet will not impair the utility of Branch 3, and we do recommend that the board adopt findings in order to authorize the outlet of additional lands on 4.43 acres to ACD 102232 Branch 3. We do recommend an outlet fee of $375.28, and we've determined this commensurate with the rest of the established WMD charges for all of the other benefiting landowners on the system. In addition, we realize that there are potential other related costs incurred by the district for administration of this petition, and we advise that those be added onto in addition to the outlet fee of $375.28.
Can I stop you for just 1 second? Manager Robertson, are you aware of what a WMD is? Would you like a little?
The Watershed Management District?
Yeah.
Pop quiz, I passed, right?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Not bad. When we establish a repair of a ditch, we have to recover the costs. We recover the costs generally 60% from the people who are directly benefited and 40% from the district. The 60% or whatever percent that turns out to gets recovered from those properties that directly benefit from that ditch. Much the way you would do if you were recovering the cost of a street repair. And it's based on the volume each piece of property puts into that ditch. Very specialized, we're unique. Houston helped us create it. I think we were probably the first ones to come up with this wonderful theory. But that's what he's referring to as the $375.20. It's new land coming in has to now help pay for the cost of what they're adding.
I'm assuming in this case that would be the developer's cost to assume it's not like you're assessing each parcel. Right now it's just a plat.
Correct.
Layout. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I get it.
In certain circumstances, we do divide cost, but this one is fairly small. And actually, that is the end of my presentation, so that's good timing. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So only question I had was, we're obviously doing this kind of in conjunction with Coon Creek. Are we working together with them in some way, or do we have some obligation to do that? Chris?
Yep, Mr. Chair, so through the petition, we worked with Coon Creek, as we do with any petition that straddles the two boundaries there and coordinating with them. But certainly Coon Creek doesn't have an interest in trying to retain the extra water going onto their watershed, so.
You also mentioned there are two pieces of property where it's going away from us to them, so it's kind of a total project.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, we generally look at the net, and then the net in this case is a little under 4 acres going toward Rice Creek.
Anyone else have a question? In that case, may I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the engineer's report and to direct staff to schedule and notice a public hearing on May 10th, 2023 during the regular board meeting.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Passes 5-0. Okay, so next up is the financial report. Mr. Misra.
Yes. Manager Bradley, board managers, annually, the district is to complete a financial report and audit. You have received that back as it was completed and prepared by Redpath and Company for the year ending December 31st, 2022. There is an obligation to send those reports, and they have been done by Redpath to the State Auditor's Office and the Board of Water and Soil Resources. Within that report, there are two letters which are directed at the governance by the board. Those are found on page 109 and 111 of your packet. Both of those letters, the first, the report on internal controls, did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that they would consider a material weakness at the district. And the second letter, the report on Minnesota legal compliance, excuse me, states that nothing they found came to the attention of the auditors that caused them to believe that Rice Creek failed to comply with the provisions of the Minnesota Legal Compliance Audit Guide for political subdivisions. With that, annually, this report is shared first with the treasurers and a staff review with the Redpath folks. Incidentally, I'll note these are independent folks from those that complete our day-to-day work, if you will. And then it's here before the board to accept the report and filing it accordingly. There is a motion proposed on the bottom of page 42 for your consideration.
Either our past treasurer or current treasurer needs to make a comment.
Go ahead, Margaret. Well, I would just say that I would like to thank the staff for all their hard work, because we had another clean audit, and I think that's pretty impressive. I think everyone's been clean that I know of. I sat in on the audit, but Marcy was the lead on it, so I'll let her take it from there.
Yes, thank you. I was looking for the note about, the change this time was about the gun club. This board had said that we wanted to indicate a difference in the liability, and I'm looking for that note in here.
It's in there. I don't know where, but it's in
Yeah,
there.
it's in there, so I just wanted to let you all know that was there. And some adjustment to the Long Lake Sediment Basin and payment was also noted. So those were two things that were identified in the audit, and we took a good look at how that was all recorded. So I'm very pleased with Redpath and how they presented the information, and would certainly answer any questions. But with that, Mr. Chair, I would move to accept and authorize the filing of the Rice Creek Watershed District 2022 Annual Financial Report and Audit.
Is there a second? I will second it. Any questions? Because we kind of jumped over that. Anyone have any questions about this report? If not, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a major piece of work.
Yes.
You bet.
So are we up to the Rice Creek Watershed Annual Report with Kendra? And Kendra's.
Manager Bradley, that is correct. Yes, Kendra is with us virtually here to offer this agenda item.
Very good. Kendra, you've got the floor.
Good morning, President Bradley, Board of Managers. I have the 2022 annual report draft here for your review. It follows all the previous year's format, so it follows the watershed management plan, and it includes information that is required for the MS4 permit. I welcome any comments or edits and suggestions that you may have.
Anyone have any questions? Kendra? I will just observe that I found it quite readable. I thought it was better than last year's, but maybe I'm wrong. But appreciate it. I use it to my great benefit, not my, to our great benefit yesterday in our workshop. I was able to refer to items that were important to our consideration of what we were going to do going forward. So I thank you for that.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
How will this, besides filing this for the MS4 permit, how else is this used? And is this reviewed today during the city-county partnership meeting or available to our partners? How does this information get out is my question.
Yes. Board of Managers, in addition to anything Kendra would like to add, the annual report is placed on the district's website. It's not unusual. All watersheds would do such a document, as well as many of our communities. I'll leave it at that. No, it isn't on the agenda for the city-county partner meeting, although many of our activities or accomplishments are shared there, and so we've picked those that we thought most appropriate for that group. Just a note about the way it's written, it records obviously the work that's done in the year it's representing here, 2022, and then the next page is forecasting the work that will be done in the coming year of 2023.
Is this report shared with Bowser?
It is indeed.
I thought it was.
Yes.
And do they report back on it?
No, I have not received any more than perhaps acknowledgement that it's been received.
Because it's so acceptable.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd just like to echo what you said as far as being readable. I thought it was really readable, and it had quite a bit of information in it. I mean, really, I thought it was laid out really nice.
So is this formally shared with our counties or any of the cities? Do we give them a heads up that it's on the website? Because there's a lot of information here that I would hope as outreach person that it's pushed rather than
I agree.
Mr. Mister.
Yes, Board of Managers, we can certainly do that. There's nothing wrong with obviously sharing the success and the plans of the district of the work we have to do yet. I would suggest that we send it out to the administrators of our counties, and then they will know what their appointed individual managers are completing as a group. So.
We ready for a motion then?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I thought the report was very nice, and I agree with you about it being a change from last year's in the past, and a positive change. I enjoyed taking a look at the picture of the staff.
Yes, isn't that great?
I could clearly read that they all work for Rice Creek. There's only one individual where I can't see the RCWD emblem on his clothing, We'll take that up with
Oh,
him
boy.
later.
That's a staff policy violation.
But anyways, I did enjoy the photographs and the color that was in it this year, and I did enjoy the staff picture. So-
Manager Bradley,
Yes.
I would like to make very clear to the board that all staff have logoed Rice Creek material on, including the administrator, whose shirt is gray with a white Rice Creek logo on it.
I see.
I did receive a glance here from Manager Waller, and I just want to make it very clear that all staff are wearing a Rice Creek
Gosh.
logo.
Oh, my
Well,
gosh.
your correction is accepted, sir. However, with my trifocals, I can't see it. It must be a poor choice of clothing color.
I'm
Oh
sure there's plenty
my.
of optometrists available to work with you.
Yes, but all the others are just so easily standing out on the blue and white.
There you go.
So-
You know,
But
so
it's a
like-
very good idea to have the staff picture in there, miss. Thank you.
Okay.
So, well,
Have I
Mr.
called for a motion yet?
Chair, I move to approve the 2022 annual report with any necessary formatting and non-substantive changes and authorize submission to Bowser and the other required recipients by the deadline.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I'm,
Opposed? None. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Kendra.
Thank you.
And so the next item, Mr. Administrator.
Yes, that is our additional item, the office cubicle project. You have a handout before you this morning that I drafted for your consideration. Back in October, the board reviewed an organizational chart identifying some future needs of the district. That's going along rather smoothly. You'll note first it was regarding the monitoring program that Matt Koshin heads, then a program support position, et cetera. There were a total of 4 with new staff. You need some additional space for them. This here breaks down that piece of work. I'll note that individually, each of the contracts that would be entered into are within the delegated authority, but in the effort of transparency with the board and discussion with Manager Bradley, I thought it best to bring it before you to see the overall cost. Both Anna from our office, Anna Grace, and Tom Schmidt worked on this matter, obtaining quotes from a couple of different cubicle companies, a couple of different wiring professionals. We've received the okay to proceed from our district, our landlord, and it will take a bit to have this installed. In any event, the actual quotes, as you likely recall, are private materials until the board does accept or we enter into those contracts. So I've just given you the numbers here. And my total estimate is not to exceed $14,000 for this portion of the project.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I have a motion? I will move to approve the office space cubicle project not to exceed $14,000, authorizing the administrator to enter individual quotes, seconded by.
I second that, please.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes. Thank you, Nick.
Now,
Manager Bradley, the next item on the agenda is the U.S. site work partial payment request. With
Thanks.
Ashley present to discuss that with you.
Thank you, Mr. President, Board of Managers. Page 165 of your packet, you have the memo and proposed motion for the partial pay request number 4 for U.S. site work. This is on ACD 5362 in Circle Pines and Blaine. They have completed tree removal and excavation along the section from 35 to Lexington. And so that's what's included in this pay request. And then they are now working further down. So the total amount is $20,000 $737.31 to be split according to the